Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I want to start by saying that I certainly respect the judge's order that we have to take a vote today, which is why I'm still sitting here. And I do want to also say that the reason we did not take this vote up, in my opinion, in the previous meeting or in the special call meeting, which was about a completely different issue, was not because we were trying to disobey the judge's order, but rather because we believed we were in the appeals process and were waiting to get the result of that. That said, elections are under attack in this country. Legislators are gerrymandering districts to disenfranchise voters. They're limiting early voting, and now they're threatening to take away mail-in ballots and even eliminate electronic voting. It's worth noting that if mail-in ballots go away, the people who will be the most disenfranchised are our seniors and our most vulnerable populations who cannot get to the ballot box. I ran for this seat in large part because I wanted to be in a spot to defend the integrity of our elections, and I stand by that commitment today. The judge's order denying the stay says clearly, quote, "The court knows the rule in this type of case is that the court can only compel the public body to act, while it cannot dictate the decision that must be made. No judge can compel any elected official to vote a certain way because we are hired by our constituents, and only our constituents can remove us from office. No court, no lawmaker, no political party can compel me to vote any particular way. We're elected by the people, and I'm going to represent the people of my district." I've spoken about my objections to both the Fulton County Republican Party's nominees, Jason Frazier and Julie Adams, and I don't feel like I need to rehash that today. They're election deniers, and they're doing everything they can to undermine faith in the election process in Fulton County. The bylaws of the Fulton County BRE state, the last bullet point of the purpose in the bylaws is to articulate the department's goals and accomplishments to the public and to the elected bodies to which the department answers, so that the public and elected officials maintain confidence in elections administered by the department. Neither of these two people have any desire to do that, as they have proven by their actions over and over and over again. They've been written about in the local and national press, and they are notorious for doing just the opposite. While again, I respect the rule of law, and I have the courage of my convictions to be here today and take a vote, unlike some of my colleagues who do not, I do also appreciate that my actions have consequences. And I'm willing to face those consequences because I cannot and I will not cast my vote for people who are actively undermining not only our elections, but our democracy.
Anything further? All right, thank you, Commissioner Ivory.
Thank you, Commissioner Barrett, for your bravery. I know how important this is to you, and just the four of us remain to deal with this issue. So I want to thank Commissioner Barrett for staying. I want to thank Commissioner Ellis for staying and doing what we were voted to do, which is attend the meetings from the beginning to the end when we adjourn. I'm an officer of a licensed member of the Bar of Georgia and have been an attorney for over 3 decades. So I clearly believe in the rule of law. The right to vote is the cornerstone of our democracy, not who you vote for, but the right itself, and those who oversee elections must be fully independent and accountable. My vote today is not even about partisanship at all. It is about principle and ensuring that appointments to this board reflect the highest standards of fairness and responsibility. The court has ruled. I respect the authority of the court, but I also like has been mentioned, have a duty to the people that I represent. The act of voting itself is discretionary. Any vote, the ones we take here or the one that you cast when you vote in an election. Discretionary. Nobody can tell you what or how you should vote. And I am part of the people. We are part of the people. And in this role, I'm a part of the process that the people went into the booth to elect me to sit here. And that still remains discretionary. No one should force an elected official or any voter to cast a particular vote. We're opening up a very scary door to do that, no matter where your politics lies. Our residents deserve appointees who are unquestionably committed to fairness, transparency, and ethical standards in our election administration. This is not about personalities or politics, although that's what grabs the headlines. It is about ensuring that the Board of Registrations and Elections in Fulton County is held to the highest level of accountability and that our elections are fair. And we have been told that they are. We have actually been commended on the way that we do our elections in this largest county here in this state. So while I respect my colleagues and the legal requirements before us, I stand firm in my belief that Fulton County deserves better than what has been presented to us. So I will continue to push for a Board of Registrations and Elections that's representative, ethical, and accountable to the people, because the stakes, our democracy and the voices of our residents are simply too high. Thank you.
Any other further comments? Commissioner Thorne, Commissioner Barrett? Commissioner Thorne?
I just want to correct some things because there is a lot of misinformation that goes around, and I think public comment corrected. There seems to be misinformation that Julie Adams had 3 lawsuits. She had 1 lawsuit. That misinformation was stated by commissioners up here on the dais. It was repeated here by Democrat officials that claim they're nonpartisan, but they're so highly partisan, it's ridiculous. You need to know the difference between mail-in ballots and absentee ballots. Mail-in ballots are when states mail everybody a ballot. Absentee ballots are not going away. Seniors are not going to lose their ballots. That was something that's put out there, and it's misinformation, disinformation. Electronic voting. Yes, there are people that want hand paper ballots counted, hand-counted paper ballots. There are people that want those. We have electronic voting. We need to make it more secure. But the Democrats were for hand-marked paper ballots. Dana Barrett was on the floor advocating against the Dominion machines. Well, now they seem to got the system in place that works in their favor, so now, oh no, we want to keep these machines. Fair fight. Commissioner Ivory, you're familiar with Fair Fight since you are a former Fair Fight activist, or still are, and your staff is. They are at our election Gavrio conference recruiting election members to become a part. Election deniers undermine our faith. That's so ridiculous. What is an election denier? Election denier is anybody who wants integrity in our elections. By state law, we need to reconcile that the number of people voted equals the number of ballots cast. We do not obey that law. There is a new rule that we have to do it before certification. That is why Julie Adams, her lawsuit was, I need information to make sure that the number of people voted equals the number of ballots cast. That's called integrity, that's called checks and balances, that's called transparency. We are anything but transparent in our elections. And all we are doing is advocating for secure processes. Did you know in the PSC race, we had 8 tabulators that came in, or I think it may be 7, tabulators that came in on Friday night and were not secured. No security at all to them. They sat in our warehouse till Tuesday with hundreds of temp workers all around it, night and day. But no, we have secure elections because the press, the liberal press, local and national news says that we have secure elections. So we must be undermining our democracy by calling out these questions, by calling out these things, by advocating for more secure processes. And I do respect both of you for staying up here. Thank you. I appreciate you guys being here and stating your decision not to appoint them. I respect that honestly, and I hope in the future that we can have simple conversation. I know Commissioner Ivory, you and I have talked about, we are on opposite sides, but we don't get anywhere by just staying on opposite sides and putting out misinformation. We need to have a talking community. We need to face each other face to face, dispute the facts. So I do appreciate that. I hope we can have further discussion later. But with that being said, I think this whole, we're undermining our elections. If they get nominated, our democracy is gonna end. If you have someone in there that's actually questioning to see materials, to make sure things add up, to make sure our voter rolls, people aren't voting twice, because there are people who are voting twice. They vote in our state and they vote in their state. And they're not removed from our voter rolls. So we are advocating for a better election process. This is who the GOP picked to represent them. And courts now have given us an order that they need to be appointed. So with that being said, I think we need to take a vote.
Thanks, Commissioner Thorne. And I just want to add, I've been pretty clear on this since we started having this conversation 2 or 3 years ago, I think, when it first came up. You know, I flew back specifically from vacation to take this particular vote, and some other votes, some tax votes and so forth, because I remember that specific week. But I was clear in my statements then, and I felt like the law had two things before us. If they met the test to be on the Board of Elections, which was quite simple, and I think they're a Fulton County resident, they're not holding elected office, and over the certain age or something like that. I think it's just the first two, but there's an age requirement, obviously. They have to be valid, I think, registered to vote or whatever. But whatever those were, they met those, then our obligation was to shall confirm them. And we've gone through multiple rounds of this. We've, spent countless hours on it, and now we have a judge telling us twice, and appellate courts also saying, yeah, we see no reason to take this up, and we should do what we're compelled to do, and I think what the law says. And I hope that despite whether or not you feel differently about those particular two nominees or whatnot, I've felt differently about individual nominees that have come before us on the Democratic side, but I've not gone out and personally slandered them, attacked them, and so forth. I hope you would vote to approve today, so we can move on from this chapter. And as I understand it, the appeal could continue if that was a desire of our board. So I've said my piece on it. Commissioner Ivory?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I will note that it is accurate that there have been, other presented nominees, and they did not just go through because you voted no, because your vote is discretionary. So let's not muddle the two issues here, that you do have the right to vote no because you've exercised that many times in the past as to nominations that have come up. So for us to be forced now, because we did not agree with a certain nomination, to be forced to vote yes to that is, in my eyes, unconstitutional.
Okay, well, I will correct one thing you said. Yes, there are plenty of times where we may have the opportunity to vote no on something, but this has some very specific statutory language in it, which is much different than the normal course board appointments that we deal with, over the course of things. It's very distinctive, it's very different, And now it's been litigated, and we have court rulings on it. And this is what I felt like the interpretation of it was before, and this is where we are right now with a judge's decision and it compelling us to actually comply with the law. So that's what I hope we'll do today. I mean, we can continue to kind of add on and add commentary to it if you want to, but I've said my piece then, I've said it now.
All right, and thank you for that. And I will add that a vote here, although it is not going to pass, but a vote would then wipe out the opportunity to continue to appeal that statutory language that you are talking about, or the county's ability to go to the next court level to find out if that language is exactly what it is. So if it were that we were forced to not, put these two into the registrations and election, it would wipe out our ability to appeal, and that is not what is a good course to take, nor is it a fair adjudication of a final ruling, which, could go as far as it could go.
Commissioner Barrett?
Thank you, Mr. Vice Chair. I just want to make one final note, and that is to say, this board of 7 is welcome to come up with a 4-person majority to vote this through. There has been a 4-person majority block that has voted together on this board for at least the last 2.5-ish years. I have not been a part of that majority block, much to my chagrin, on many days. 2 of those people have decided not to even have the courage of their convictions to be here to vote. My vote is not going to be in the positive for this appointment. The voting bloc has not needed me for anything else. So they don't need me right now. They can vote how they like.
Commissioner Thorne?
I just want to make a comment on behalf of Chairman Pitts, who is not here. He had something he had to go to today, and that is why he was trying to hurry public comment so that he wouldn't miss the meeting. So I don't want it to think that he left because he had a previously scheduled event that he had to be at today.
Yep. In addition to that, this has been a 5-2 vote all along with, not a 4-2 vote, but a 5-2 vote on this particular issue. So I think we've all heard enough on this. Let's just vote this up or down one way or the other. Commissioner Barrett?
Thank you. Sorry, just want to correct what you said, Commissioner Thorne. I appreciate that the chairman had a schedule to keep, but it's also his agenda and he runs these meetings. And if he had wanted to take this vote before he left, he could have.
All right. I'm not sure personal attacks on everybody is particularly worthy or, useful for all of us, and it's quite unfortunate is what I would say. This is a matter that which has been sort of well documented, and it's been set up on partisan lines all along, and it looks like it's going to be set up on partisan lines today, but maybe there'll be a miracle. So let's open up the vote.
And the vote is open. And the motion fails. 2 yeas, 2 nays.